What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's YouTube video. As you guys see, a full day of eating going down today. We've got that first meal, the traditional pre-workout meal. We got 2 rice cakes. We got these chocolate Quaker rice cakes right there. We have 20 grams of peanut butter, so we actually measured that out, just the natural creamy peanut butter from Kroger, 20 grams, 10 per rice cake, as well as 1 banana cup on top. And then our pre-workout caffeine of choice is gonna be a White Monster. So as the first meal of the day, let's go ahead. And also one thing, so you guys can see, I actually have all my meals already planned out for the entire day. I cannot recommend that enough as far as having success with the fat loss phase comes down to not only execution, but also proper planning. So many people will be like, oh yeah, I wanna lose weight, or I wanna build muscle, I wanna do it in an efficient way, I need to track my calories. But all they do is add in the food as they go, hoping or wishing that they'll hit their calorie and protein goal. Versus do what I call pre-tracking. Let's go ahead and unlock this, obviously read the calories to you guys. What I call pre-tracking. We're actually going in and tracking your entire day ahead of time. So I already tracked this last night. I input all my foods that I'm gonna be eating today, and I saw that my calorie and protein goals will be getting hit. So all it comes down to is execution. Rather than going in today and like, oh, what am I gonna eat for breakfast? Okay, let me put those calories in. What am I gonna eat for lunch? Put those calories in. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, dinner, you're screwed because you have 0 grams of fat left, a ton of carbs, and a little bit of protein or something like that. So biggest thing there, pre-tracking is amazing. Also, I'll be traveling for dinner, so I already know I'm gonna be actually out for dinner. So I input Chick-fil-A last night because that's where we'll be stopping on our way up to Cleveland. So I already put Chick-fil-A in as meal number 4 so I can work my way backwards and make sure I hit my calorie and protein goals while still eating out. So this meal right here though, talk about meal number 1. This is gonna be 344 calories. It is 50 grams of carbs, 12 grams of fat, and 8 grams of protein. This is the pre-workout meal, a little bit more carb heavy, not too much protein, because I'm about to go train in literally like 20 minutes. So that's the first meal. Like I said, pre-tracking is absolute game changer. I'm gonna have this meal, obviously show you guys the rest of the day, including why I get Chick-fil-A as a nice little high protein, low calorie hack, and I'll see you guys then. Stay tuned. Just got back from the gym, had a killer workout. Before we move on to our meal number 2, post-workout shake, gotta jump in the shower real quick, and that gives me a chance to talk about my new partnership with Beast Mode Soap. So this right here, as you guys know, I'm always looking for the cutting edge in terms of health and fitness for longevity and just overall feeling it and looking my best. As far as that goes, from cold plunging to saunas to the 8 sleep on my bed, I also make sure that the things I put on my body on a daily basis, if not twice a day, are also clean. So this is a beef tallow based soap, only 2 to 3 ingredients per bar. No added seed oils, no artificial fragrances. This is a little 4-pack here. So we've got paleo pine, forest ash, unscented, and lemon leaf. So if you pick these up, I definitely recommend going with the variety pack so you can figure out what scent you like the most. I think Katie and I have agreed paleo pine is gonna be our favorite going forward, that she likes and I like as well. But the biggest thing there is if I'm gonna put something on my body every single day, if not twice a day, I want it to be of the highest quality. So that's why I partnered with Beast Mode Soap. You guys can check it out at beastmodesoap.com. And like I said, everything's made with natural ingredients, only 2 to 3 ingredients per bar of soap, which is awesome. So check it out at beastmodesoap.com. Code Perez10 will save you 10%. Now in the shower, and see you guys at the post-workout shake. If I'm being completely honest, this meal right here is normally gonna be some sort of egg meal. My plan today is to do steak and eggs before I actually leave and drive up so I can have a little more calories and protein at home rather than spending like, I don't know, 25 bucks on Chick-fil-A. So my goal here is to basically, and also have a meeting in about 15 minutes. So I need to go ahead and make it quick. So that's why we are gonna go ahead and push or bring the protein shake up, which is normally this is meal number 3, and push back the steak and eggs until a little bit later in the day. Nothing wrong there. I know it's kind of like a traditional like breakfast meal, but I think you can eat eggs and steak any time of the day. So we're gonna have to wait on that. But the protein shake right here, this masterpiece that always tastes amazing, just hits the spot every time, is a frozen banana. Then we're gonna have 1 cup of the Almond Breeze. This is just a 30-calorie almond milk. I've been using it forever. I think there's a variety of different things, but I will say be careful because some almond milk can get up to like 120, 150 calories per cup. So I always use a low calorie version. We're gonna have 10 grams of this peanut butter just for some taste. And then of course, we've got our protein powder, which is the big protein kicker. We got 2 scoops of the Transparent Labs dark chocolate in there for obviously the chocolate peanut butter banana combo. So this tastes amazing. I'll go ahead and read the macros for you guys. Actually, this peanut butter can go back up here. Also, I do take the protein powder, or sorry, my creatine when I have this shake. So I just took that. And let's see here, calories for this meal. I should know this by heart because I pretty much have my my rice, not my Rice Krispie treats, my rice cakes, and this every single day. Let's see if we can get my fitness pal to load here for a second. Let me actually put this away too. And this protein shake right here comes out to be 434 calories. It is 31 grams of carbs, 8 grams of fat, and 61 grams of protein. I mean, you can't beat those macros, right? 60 grams of protein for about 430 calories, and it tastes amazing, so cannot recommend this enough. Shout out to Katie who introduced it to me, because I will say, I used to just do protein shake and almond milk, which is still great, still tastes amazing, but take it to the next level with the frozen banana and the peanut butter, and I absolutely love it. So this is gonna be our little shake we're gonna sip on, a couple calls to actually go through, a little bit of work. I'll see you guys at the steak and eggs for late lunch, meal number 3, something like that. For the third meal of the day, we're having those steak and eggs I mentioned earlier. So we can see the ingredients right here, pretty straightforward. So one thing we will add to the steak will be salt and pepper. But the great thing about the steak is I'll actually sear this fat cap to actually get some oils down the pan. So maybe actually show you guys that process. So instead of adding oil to the pan and more calories, I can use the fat already on the steak and kind of get a little bit of an oil that allows the steak to actually get a decent Maillard reaction, good texture to it. Also, we added in 2 of these Sun Gold kiwis. These things are amazing when they're in season. So if you have never had those, cannot recommend them enough. They're a little bit sweeter than regular green kiwis, but still pack a punch with micronutrients. And we're having 3 eggs. So I'll go ahead and be cracking 3 whole eggs just in a pan with a little bit of butter. So that's gonna be meal number 3. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. We need to, this has been sitting out, the steak right here. It's your strip steak, been sitting out for about 30 minutes. So I need to throw some salt and pepper on that. And then we have our pan heating up over here, and I'll show you guys the little process I use to get that fat cap and get a little bit of oils in the bottom of the pan. Now we are steak dried off, salted, peppered. And what we'll actually do is, so these strip steaks have a really good fat cap right there, like I said. So what we'll actually be doing is searing that fat cap off to get some oils down the pan. Otherwise, you have to have a bunch of oil, well, not a bunch, but a decent amount of oil in the pan to get a nice sear on the steak. What we'll do is actually use the fat from the steak to actually get that little bit of oil down the bottom of the pan, and then we'll be able to sear the steak without adding more oil and more calories. This is a little fattier steak. If it was a strip steak or a leaner steak, you might have to still add some oil. But I noticed with the ribeyes and the strip steaks, use its own fat to cook it in, you can still get a good sear. So we'll go ahead and put that down for a little bit. And what basically is happening right now is the fat is essentially creating an oil base at the bottom of the pan, which I can then use to sear the steak. So this steak probably takes about 2.5 to 3 minutes aside to get that medium rare I'm going for. So I'll go ahead and cook this up. We need to also throw some eggs in our nonstick pan, just a little bit easier to cook those. And then we'll have, and I do kind of move this around to kind of get the oils across the entire actual pan from the fat. So yeah, I'll move that around for a little bit. I also gotta hold it up a little bit so it stays on the one side. But eventually, yeah, we'll go ahead and sear it, and I'll show you guys the final product of the steak, eggs, and of course the kiwi too for micronutrients. And here we have our miraculous meal, steak and eggs. It looks so good, smells amazing. And of course our micronutrients with our 2 golden kiwis. So we've got 3 whole eggs and that strip steak. Let's see, the calories are a little bit high, I will say that, but considering we've only had, I think, about 700 calories today, my goal is upwards of like 2,600 calories now. We got some wiggle room and some calories to work with. So this meal comes out to be, let's see, so you got the strip steak, the eggs, a little bit of butter for the eggs, and the Sun Gold kiwi comes out to be 1,118 calories. It is 24 grams of carbs, pretty much only coming from the kiwis themselves, 70 grams of fat, and 93 grams of protein. So this is very high in fat. The steak specifically, obviously the eggs do have some fats too, but the steak specifically is a fattier steak, but it's one I love. I have the calories for it, so it can work out and fit very well into my overall day of eating, and 93 grams of protein. So this is a protein bomb. This is the last meal at home. Actually, might be having some blueberries and carrots just to kind of clean out the fridge before we leave for the weekend. But we will be having Chick-fil-A for dinner on the road. I will show you guys that meal, but my goal once again was to, rather than having to go to Chick-fil-A and get like two cool wraps and grilled nuggets, that, like, once again, it can probably be 25 bucks. I'm gonna go with just 1 cool wrap and then also some buffalo sauce and of course a diet lemonade when we're there. But I'll show you guys that meal. For now, I'm gonna dig into this absolute feast. The steak is still resting, so I'm gonna let that rest. Maybe start with the eggs, and yeah, I'm excited if you can't tell. And I'll see you guys at the 4th meal on the road, Chick-fil-A, and go over the total calories for the entire day too. Now we've got a little bit of our pre-road trip snack. We've got some blueberries, strawberries, and some carrots right there. Just a big bowl of micronutrients. 1, to clean out the fridge a little bit before we leave for the weekend, and 2, because the only thing I'm gonna have the rest of the day is gonna be that Chick-fil-A Cool Wrap, as well as some buffalo sauce to make sure I get some micronutrients in before then. Because I will say, my goal for myself, as well as every client I have, is to have a micronutrient with every meal. So essentially, whenever we eat, we're having some sort of fruit or vegetable. So this is gonna be my fruit and vegetable for dinner. That might just be kind of spreading out into 2 meals, essentially. But this, let's say, not meal, but this snack comes out to be 204 calories, 40 grams of carbs, 1 gram of fat, and 3 grams of protein. So Katie should be back in about 15 minutes, or maybe closer to 20, depending on traffic. But I have a little bit more computer work to finish up. I'm gonna snack on those, the micronutrients as far as the carrots, blueberries, and strawberries. Finish packing up. I'm pretty much done. All my stuff's out there on the table right there. So it should be done. You take out the trash, do a couple other little things, and then we will head up to Cleveland. So yeah, without further ado, we'll wrap things up here. Stay tuned, well, not wrap things up, wrap things up for this little segment. I'll see you guys at Chick-fil-A later tonight. As promised, I'd show you guys the quick pit stop we're making on the way to Cleveland. We got our Cool Wrap here and buffalo sauce. I will say the go-to used to be a grilled chicken sandwich or the grilled nuggets, but this has grown on me a lot. So this is gonna be having, biggest thing here is subbing out the chipotle, or no, avocado, what is it again? I always forget. Avocado lime ranch something sauce, which is like 300 calories. Sub that out for some zesty buffalo. This thing's like maybe 50 calories, if not less than that. I think it's 25 actually is what I have on here. So yeah, 25 calories for the sauce. Excuse me, and 350 for the grilled Cool Wrap, no dressing. That's gonna bring this meal to 375 calories, 44 grams of carbs, 16 grams of fat, and 42 grams of protein. So it does have a decent chunk of protein. If I need more protein, I go with some grilled nuggets. I'd added 8 or 12 count grilled nuggets, but we already had that big steak, so protein's covered. I might have a sip or two of Katie's Diet Lemonade, but that's kind of not worth even tracking. So that brings our day total with all the meals, and like I said, this was pre-tracked. One of the key things, long-term success, pre-tracking these things is gonna be, let's see, 2,475 calories, 207 grams of carbs, 107 grams of fat, and then 208 grams of protein. So absolutely smash the protein goal. So honestly, I could have gone with like 1 scoop and test scoop instead of 2 scoops in the protein shake. But at the same time, I'd rather have a safety net or kind of insurance policy with a higher protein, things like that. So that'll wrap things up. I'm gonna go ahead and eat this, then head up to Cleveland, and that'll be a wrap on the video. But yeah, that's a full day of eating, a little bit on the go, a little bit planning ahead, and of course, just as always, some great meals. But make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.